It's been a while since I've done a trailer review. Um, when the trailer for The Naked Gun came out, I just immediately watched it. I don't remember if it was a case of I just wanted to see how bad it was going to be, or I forgot or something. To be clear, I think it looks good, but I think the violence of the film is too much. Um, it's it does reflect modern day comedy movies like Deadpool and Kick Ass and shit, where they are very, very violent, but even though the original Naked Gun was also fitting to the time that it was made, I think it has charm, and I feel like if you're gonna modernize the movie, like the modern look of it with like in it looks all serious and shit. That I didn't mind, but it's just the violence. I feel like that's the one thing you should keep the way that it was. Other than that, I think the trailer's great. Like the fact that he all he's doing is wearing a mask, and yet he shrinks to the height of a 5-year old. And then also just the fact you've got Liam Neeson dressing like a schoolgirl, and that one with Norberg's son. Goddamn, I did not expect that. The only thing that's concerning is the fact that Seth MacFarlane is producing it. But anyway, now that I'm like properly staring at this casting, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Pedro doesn't look right. Joseph really doesn't look right, and the thing just it doesn't look right. Vanessa Vanessa Kirby's like she's a good looking woman, but she looks weird. Whereas I feel like Sue Storm, you need to get someone that's really sort of straight faced, and they have yet to do that. And it doesn't help that Jessica Alba, she's got some sort of heritage, whereas Sue Storm, like, I get Vanessa Kirby's British, but she can pass for someone that is born and bred American. And then Kate Mara, she's naturally, she's got like natural brown hair, so her with blonde hair just didn't look right. That scene, there was just something about it that didn't sit right with me. Like, I don't think the film looks bad, but it just doesn't look right. Yeah, we're definitely not gonna get comments about, you know, Silver Surfer looking hot the same way that there's so many memes about how ridiculously thick they make the female characters in Marvel Rivals, but that's definitely not going to happen. When I heard that Julia Garner was cast, I thought, one, hell yeah, it's Julia fucking Garner. Even though the only other thing I know she's in is Ozark, which I wasn't a fan of. She's married to Mark Foster, so that's kind of based by default. But my second thought was, why did they make Silver Surfer a woman? I didn't realize at the time that there is a female Silver Surfer. I thought there was just the Silver Surfer, so I don't have a problem with it. I do like that thing of um, Reed saying that they stretched the bounds of space and they heard. I think that's quite good. I really don't want to be the kind of person to say this, especially with all the hate that Gal Gadot's been getting recently. My opinion on Gal Gadot is that she's not a bad actress. It's just she is Israeli. And what I mean by that is the fact that English is not her first language. And yeah, there are plenty of other actors that English is not their native language, but they still speak it fine and they are still good actors. But like the only thing that people say about Gal Gadot is that her line deliveries are shit. But I think that the reason why her line deliveries are shit is because the English isn't her first language. So I don't like the hate that she gets. But this has been making me think, this trailer. I think Pedro Pascal is not a good actor. I never thought that before, but thinking about it, I think this is the best way that it should be put. Pedro Pascal is not an actor. He is an action star. Like, he's good as the Mandalorian, but he is shit as Joel. And, like, that line that he said about they heard us pushing the boundaries of space, blah blah blah. As much as I like that line, I think his delivery was a little flat. And then no, but this where someone asked him, "Are we safe?" and he says, "I don't know." That also felt flat. So I'm starting to think that Pedro is just an action star and nothing else. The same way that like The Rock is just an action star. Like, he can be cool at times, but if you expect him to deliver an Oscar-worthy performance, you're a fucking idiot. I think Reed's stretching powers look good there. I'm still not the biggest fan of Sue's powers, but because of their nature, it's probably impossible to get them right. This is another trailer that I've seen without making a video about it. Um, this could be a new trailer. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna give my opinion on the first trailer. This is a new film. This isn't like something that maybe was filmed a couple of years ago and is only coming out now, and it's not something that was released a couple of years ago that I'm only discovering now. This is a brand new film that is releasing in 2025. But based on the first, well, I guess it was more of a teaser. Based on that, it seems like it's something to do with the pandemic. Why the fuck are we making a movie about the pandemic in 2025? Like, when that scene at the start of Glass Onion where Ethan Hawke just randomly appears and gives everyone a vaccine. Like, Corona should not have been in that film because it was released in December 2022. Like, the pandemic started nearly 3 years ago at that point. People were sick of it. It was over. Like, not even basically, it was over. Period. There were still some parts of it, but for the most part, like, you can go about your day without having to hear anything about it or it affecting your life in any fucking way. So it should not have been in the film. Ricky Gervais made the correct choice in not having Corona be in Afterlife because he felt that, there could be people watching it long after the pandemic is over and don't want anyone having a reminder of it. But if there's a new trailer, I'll watch it, and if there's not, then, well, obviously I won't. There isn't a new trailer out. So I'm gonna move on to one battle after another. Um, I'm a bit concerned about this because one is a Paul Thomas Anderson film, which I feel like, even though I've only seen two of his films, one of them I liked, one of them I didn't. I feel like I'm mostly going to lean towards that I don't like the majority of his films because they're very long and they're a very slow burn, which, in my opinion, is unnecessary. Like, sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not. I feel like this is just an outsider perspective. I haven't seen the films, so obviously I don't know for sure. And also the fact that it's Leo DiCaprio, who I feel like the things he's done in the past 5 years, like, you know, within the past 5 years, what we have had from him is we had the Golden Globes, where Ricky Gervais made that comment about how long Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is, and he also said, none of these Hollywood celebrities are in a position to talk about being a good person, because none of them are a good person. And Leo DiCaprio especially is not like one to, I'm not going to say he's a bad person, but he's not one to talk. He is very, very, very passionate about climate change awareness, yet he constantly takes flights to climate change awareness like summits and shit like that. Um, so I can't help but feel like there's probably a agenda with this film, especially since the plot of it is something to do with like him. Let me see. It doesn't say. I did hear what the plot was, and other people have made comments like, "Oh, I sure hope that there isn't some like in-your-face political message about this film. I really hope it's just something I can sit down and enjoy." I've tried watching this trailer, but I couldn't. I only got like halfway because I was just confused by what was going on. I was going to tell a minute and 23 seconds in this video that I forgot to finish what I was saying. You had that whole thing of him talking about, Ricky Gervais said that Leo DiCaprio does not have the moral standing. And I forgot to mention that after that, with the pandemic and all that, even though the film wasn't about the pandemic, I think it was a product of the pandemic. He did that film, Don't Look Up, and you cannot say that there isn't a political message with that film. I'll be clear here. I have not seen it. But there is no fucking way that Leo DiCaprio did not read that script and think, hell yeah, this is a metaphor for climate change. And then, in between that and Killers of the Flower Moon, I don't think he did. I think Killers of the Flower Moon, there wasn't like any sort of political message with that. Um, but it was just a boring movie. So I feel like I just don't like Leonardo DiCaprio anymore. He's a great actor, but it's just he needs to learn when to shut his mouth. I'm further in this trailer now than I was when I first tried to watch it, and I'm understanding it a little better, but it still is confusing. And it's just, I can't think of anything to talk about. The fact that, like, a big budget. I don't know if it's AAA or not. I don't know if it's AAA or not. The fact that a movie of this scope is being filmed partly on a fucking iPhone is ridiculous. Like, anytime a new phone comes out, whether it be Apple or Android, the trailers and shit will spend most of the time talking about how good the camera is. I have the phone I'm recording this on I got in January. I'm recording this in April. It's not that old. The camera is dog shit. And I can't remember what phone I have, but it's not like it's an old model or anything like that. It is a new-ish phone. It's not like brand fucking new. It could be a couple of years old, and it's just a new model of it. But the point is that this phone supposedly has a really good camera. That is a fucking lie. It does not have a really good camera. It records in 480p. iPhones are exactly the same. So I think it is absolute bullshit that part of this has been recorded on an iPhone. Anytime I hear the name Alex Garland, I don't know, I like immediately my mind goes to Civil War. I might have mentioned this before because I can't remember if he wrote the film, directed it, or both, but he was involved in that film. His name is slapped on that film, and it's something I refused to watch because it seemed like it had an agenda. because in the trailer, Jesse Plemons' character, he says to the main character, "Who are you?" And the main character, who is played by someone that isn't white, I don't know who he is or where he's from, he says, "I'm American." Jesse Plemons says, "Okay, what kind of American are you?" So it just kind of seemed like it was sort of anti-white. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen the film. I don't know. But either way, I can't help but immediately associate everything Alex Garland has been involved with having an agenda. So, slapping his name on something kind of just puts me off. Like, the trailer for that film, Warfare, it's a really good trailer. The film looks amazing, but then his name pops up and I cringe. And also the fact that he said that he promises is like I there's no agenda with Warfare. I swear. Sorry, I was taking a drink. Maybe there isn't, but the fact that he had to come out and say that he promises there isn't kind of make it seems like that there is. And it could just be that the agenda of it that is that, the Iraq war should never have happened. But it could also be like fuck America, fuck white people, etc. I don't know. I've yet to see the film. It only came out today, and I'm actually leaving in 20 minutes to go and see it. I forgot to mention with one battle after another that even the trailer does look good. I will see the film when it comes out, but even if I didn't know what the plot of the film was about, like if I didn't hear about what it was and saw that name of people going, yeah, there definitely isn't going to be a message with this. It still would have seemed like there's a message from it based on the trailer, especially at the end where Leo kept on saying, "Oh, thank you, Sensi," and then eventually he's like, "Vive la Revolution!" Who are we fighting against? It's probably going to be a group of people that are their numbers are so fucking low that they might as well not exist, like the KKK, you know? And then use them as a metaphor for someone else, like Donald Trump. That's what it seems like, but I won't know until I watch it. Anyway, I can't really think of anything to say about 28 years later. Trailer looks good. I haven't seen days or weeks later, but I will eventually. And then I'll watch this.